3,700 people have now died.
422 people have now lost their lives.
Their hospitals are on the brink of collapse,
bringing the total to 422.
743 people have died in the last 24 hours.
There are now almost 40,000 confirmed cases across the country.
More than 670 are now dead.
The infection rate doubling every 3 days. And 25 million people will have the virus in the next 8 weeks.
Tonight, the number of cases in America now more than 53,000, nearly 10 times more than just a week ago. Empty streets from Boston to Detroit to Dallas tonight to California's Pacific Coast Highway.
Have they contained this virus, or will there be a second wave?
Over 500 people died in the last 24 hours. That's the country's worst figures to date.
For several weeks, if not months to come.
President Trump warning the restrictions may infect the economy to a point of no return.
A very major epidemic here, with cases doubling every 5 days. Now,
We are not even close to seeing the worst of this yet. It's calling for a major disaster declaration.
Chodesh Tov, everybody. We're in a very special day, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, one of the most powerful days in the calendar that we can make a huge change. And needless to say, we are going through very hard times right now. A lot of confusion, a lot of panic, mayhem, a lot of problems. The entire planet is under stress. And unfortunately, most people are lost without any direction. People are just walking in the dark. They don't even know what to expect. Nobody's giving right information. What's going to happen? What should we do? Unfortunately, there's a lot of lost sheep with no leader. And very few people are leading the generation the right way. There's a lot of false leaders in the secular world and in the religious world. From the little that I see all around, I see that nobody really knows how to give the right guidance to anybody. And I see videos of leaders and also rabbis online, and the junk and the nonsense that they're saying, it's just, there's no words for that. Sometimes I see, and of course everybody's bombarding me with videos and posts and articles, and all day long I'm just looking at the majority of this junk that people are sending me, and nothing even makes sense. And of course, nobody has real good answers. Very few people have good answers. Or not only answers, but also what to do. So I do think I have a few smart words to say that will affect many people. And I do believe that a lot of the information that I want to say can save a lot of lives, and Bezrat Hashem bring us to the redemption in a smoother way, because as it seems right now that there's no question and no doubt that the redemption, the Geulah, is kicking into a higher gear. If somebody doesn't see that, then they're completely in denial. The only problem is that the way it looks, that it's not heading in a smooth way. It seems like this coronavirus around the world, this is just the first wave before the tsunami comes. So the problem is that we need to prepare ourselves the right way. I have so much what to say that I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. The last video ended up being 2 hours, and I want it to be short. People don't have the attention span to sit in front of a screen for 2 hours. Now even though everybody's in quarantine, there's nothing else to do. But nevertheless, I am going to try to cut this video short, and if I can, then we're going to have to make it in 2 parts, and if we need to, then it will be 3 parts. But I definitely, I would suggest to anyone who's watching is watch till the end. Even if it's hard on your tuchis, then turn the video off, take a break, and then come back. Because this video might save your life. And probably will if you listen to every word that I say. And I highly recommend you see till the end. And if there's a part 2 or part 3, I don't know how long it will take, then watch part 2 and part 3 and don't miss one word that I'm saying. First, I want to quickly just dedicate the video to a few souls. One of them is Menashe ben Avraham, a good friend of mine. His father passed away and he can't even say Kaddish because he's in quarantine. So his neshama should have an aliyah, and also a young man, which unfortunately I don't have the father's name. His name is Shlomo. He passed away also a few days ago. A very young, amazing man. May his soul also have a great aliyah. And I want to wish also a refuah shlema to Moshe Chaim ben Sheina, and Yaakov ben Pnina, Sarah bat Godzi, and needless to say, a refuah shlema for this entire planet. If I would take now names, we would do a lecture about names. So I will send out a heartful message for refuah shlema for the thousands and thousands of people who are sick and battling this disease or many others. And Hashem should really send our entire planet a refuah shlema, and nobody should be dealing with this anymore. Now, before I start, very, very important message. And, you know, a lot of people, they wait for my videos to come out, but many people don't know me or my videos. The last video that went up, Baruch Hashem, there was so much sharing of it that it reached to tens of thousands of views, and it reached thousands of people that never even heard of me. So I highly suggest and recommend, not only for your sake but for other people's sake, share the video. Share the video as much as you can on social media, on your email, WhatsApp and everything, that as many as people can get the opportunity to see it. And more than that, you can subscribe to the channel, because we're going to start posting a lot of videos. We have WhatsApp groups where we post a lot of information and updates. Join the WhatsApp groups. We opened now a new WhatsApp group for halacha, daily halacha. It was amazing because we opened the group and within 3 minutes, the group was full. So we opened the next group, within 3-4 minutes, that group was full. Within half an hour, we opened 5 groups and they all got full. Chick-chack. We post halacha there every day. It's important to learn halacha. And not only that, as a remedy and a help for this entire big tzara, then we're planning on doing a lot of updates and a lot of new things in regards to new classes, new videos, etc., and new campaigns that we can all join to, Bezrat Hashem, bring salvation to our nation. So I highly recommend to keep in touch, follow us on Facebook, WhatsApp, everything, all these places. Now, as I said, I have so much what to say. I'm going to really try to make it as short as possible. But, like I said before, and I'm going to repeat myself again, even if it's hard for you, watch till the end. And even if you don't like a few things that I might say, and there's probably going to be a few things that you're not going to like that I say, because a lot of people don't like hearing harsh things, then don't turn the video off because I said something you don't like. Maybe what I say at the end, I'll connect the dots together and then it will make sense. And even if you don't like what I say, then it doesn't mean that's not the truth, or for you to do something or not to do. So do yourself a favor and listen till the end. Now, what am I going to try to cover today is, first of all, a very, very quick coverage of what's going on. Then I want to bring just a little bit of prophecies and text that we can find, mainly so we can put all the dots together. Then I will add on that what I think is the major problem, how I see it, what's my observation to this entire thing, which I think that would be one of the most important parts. And again, you don't have to like me or agree with me, but at least listen to me, because what I'm basing it on is on many, many things. The next thing that I'm going to try to cover today, and if not, it's going to be in the next video. I'll try to get to it today. Many of you know, some of you don't know. I think many don't know and some know. But 4.5 months ago, when I was in the hospital, in the ICU, I experienced another near-death experience, which I didn't share any detail with anyone, just a few people, very few details. And I am going to start sharing a few things that I saw that are going to be most important for people to listen. And I'm not going to share the entire thing because I don't think it's time to share it. And a lot of the things I can say, but the things that I can say, I think are going to be a very great help and assistance to many. And of course, at the end, the conclusion of what I think should be done and what we can do and what we have to do. Because if we're not going to get our act together, this planet is going into a catastrophe. And if somebody lives in any type of illusion that in a week or two, this is all going to disappear, they're living in some dream. And I know Trump said that this is all going to be over by Easter. It's not going to be over by Easter. I don't even know how he says it's going to be over by Easter. There's some rabbis who are saying, don't worry, by Pesach everything is over. These are very bold statements. I hope, don't get me wrong, I hope it will be over by Pesach or Easter. But my personal feeling is that it's not. This is just the beginning. And this is really just the beginning, and if we don't act fast, not just here, and definitely not just as a group of people or just the Jews, the entire population of this planet has to act fast, because Hashem had it up to here with us. And I don't like all the people who go online and saying it is okay, don't worry, it will pass, and also some other junk. It's not okay. Somebody sent me a video of some rabbi that's going on online, and he says, don't worry, every second word, don't worry. No, worry. You have to worry a lot. This is not don't worry. This is false hope and false information to tell a person, don't worry. At this point, you have to be very worried. So, if we don't act fast, we are going to be in big trouble. And when I'm saying we, I'm talking about the entire planet. So we have to act extremely, extremely fast, and everybody. And a very important information, this video is not just for Jews. This video is for the entire human race. Any person that can see this video is for them. Jews and non-Jews alike. There's no difference at this point. I don't know if you notice, Corona doesn't differentiate between a Jew and a non-Jew. It attacks everybody. Jews, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, it's attacking everybody. So this video is for everybody, not just for Jews. Now, there's a lot of updates. At first I wanted to go through a lot of updates. Updates, I mean, how many countries are affected, how many dead, how many sick. And then I decided there's no point of doing it because every day changes. When I did the previous video in Purim, then I said there's 93 countries that are affected with Corona, and within a day later it was already 102. So really there's no point of now counting how many dead people, how many are sick, besides the fact that I don't believe that this information is right. If a country is saying, like China, we have X amount of dead people, then I do not believe them to one word. If they say it's 10,000, it's probably 150,000, if not much more. Because I don't think that countries are really telling the truth. I don't think anybody is really putting out the right information. Even in Israel, they keep saying, we have X amount of sick people, X amount of sick people. I don't think it's true. I think the numbers are completely off. So I don't think it's such an important thing to really give an update. The update that I can give is very general, is that the entire world is collapsing. In case you haven't noticed, the entire world is in a catastrophe mode. Even though a lot of people might say, it's okay, relax. No. You have hundreds of millions of people in quarantine. Cities are completely empty, ghost towns. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, London, Johannesburg. Major cities with millions of citizens are ghost towns. The streets are empty. There's panic everywhere. There's havoc everywhere. The economy is collapsing everywhere. Don't buy the nonsense that people are telling you, oh, China is getting it together. No, they're not, because they're not going to have who to sell anything for, even if they get it together, which I do not believe that they're getting it together. The economy is crashing everywhere. Stock markets are crashing down. Companies are crashing. Everything is crashing down. Very scary is that countries don't even know what to do. You see in major cities, I have friends and followers all over the world that are sending me videos from their own phones of trucks, army trucks driving into cities. London, you see everywhere. New York, Miami, Chicago, trains of the army, soldiers everywhere. Nobody even knows what to do. The sad reality is that the governments, the media, they're not showing you everything. And of course, now you have to depend on videos that are coming from the social media, and that's not necessarily true. You don't know who's behind what and who's saying what, but I can tell you in a very simple way that the entire planet is collapsing. Every day I get a video from somewhere else. I have a friend that yesterday sent me videos from South Africa. You would think South Africa. He tells me the whole place is collapsing. He sends me videos of army trucks, helicopters, tanks, trains, just marching into the major cities. I told him, what is this? Where is this from? He tells me Johannesburg. I told him from when? He tells me right now. This is currently what's going on. And friends from London and Italy and many other places. The world is collapsing. The economy is collapsing. People are in quarantine. People are going nuts already. People don't even know what to do with themselves in this quarantine. It started in a week and then another week and then another week and another week, and it's becoming worse and worse and tighter and tighter. Very soon, people are not going to have even enough money to live. I don't even know. Continue with this another week or two. How will people have money to continue living? This is a domino reaction. Everybody's falling. And even if one person somehow, so people say, okay, maybe the markets, the food markets, they make money. Okay, that's one fraction of the entire world. Now, a lot of people are saying the corona is dangerous, the situation of corona is dangerous. I think the economy crashing is 10 times more dangerous. Because at some point with a virus you can treat people, you buy more equipment, you make more hospitals. I do believe that they're going to control it at some point. I don't think the corona is the danger. There's many other dangers behind it. Right now the major problem is the economy. That every country is collapsing to a point that I don't know how fast, and if even a country can rebuild itself from such a crash. Now, what's amazing here is that everything that's happening, there's some type of a prophecy or text that backs it up or explains it. So I see right now the major problem is the economy, not the virus. Even if you look at hospital, what's the big deal? You know, I'll give you an example in Israel, not in other countries. In Israel, by the fact that the entire country is in quarantine, it's costing 1 billion shekels to the entire country of lost. Now what are they saying? They're saying they don't have enough hospital beds and enough machines. Can't you take that 1 billion shekels and buy everything that you need and put it all together? Make some quick hospitals like they made in China? Continue with this another week or two, the entire country is going to collapse. Today they announced 700,000 people are unemployed in Israel. Within 2 weeks, 700,000 people. This is almost 30% of the population is unemployed. Add to it another week or two, it's going to be 50%. Well, now it's going to happen. So the first thing that I see as the major danger is the economy. Now, everything that we see as something negative is actually something good. In general, everything that we see is all good. Why is it good? Because the result is going to be the coming of Mashiach. Now, the first text that I want to bring up, I'm going to send you to a reference to the book of Dvarim, and chapter 32, verse 36. And there's a verse that says, Ki yadin Adonai amo, v'alavadav yitnecham, ki yireh ki azlat yad, ve'efes atzor ve'azov. Translation, when the Lord will judge his people, now we're all under severe judgment, and will reconsider his servants. Hashem is now checking, who's with me? When he sees that the power is increasing, and none is controlled or strengthened. This is a verse in the Torah. Needless to say, talking about now that we're being judged. Our sages come in the Talmud, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 97a, and it says a very powerful statement. En ben David ba, ad shetichlet pruta min hakis. The son of David, King Mashiach, cannot come till there's going to be missing a few coins from our pockets. Now, I looked a little deeper into this statement, and I found 13 unbelievable commentaries about this statement. I'm not going to share these 13 because that will be a whole lecture in itself. But I'll tell you what Rashi says. Rashi says, Shehiyu beyadayim rekaniyot, that our hands are going to be empty. we're not going to have anything. Mashiach needs to come, and we all have to have empty hands. Another commentary should be close to our heart because it's by the Al-Sheikh, who's our neighbor. And he quotes a verse from the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu chapter 52, 3, Nun Bet Gimel. And he quotes there, and the verse says, Ki hine chinam nimkartem. You were sold for naught. We were sold for nothing. Now the word chinam, free, or here he says not. Does it ring a bell, the word chinam? Sinat chinam, baseless hatred. That's what I was talking about in the previous video. And it says, the Al-Sheikh says, you're going to be redeemed without money. You can't have money to be redeemed, which means the Kadosh Baruch Hu now is breaking down the entire structure of money in the world for the redemption to come. But look what the Al-Sheikh says. Chinam nimkartem. You were sold for nothing. It wasn't even an amount here. But the word chinam, for me, right away, ding, a bell went off. You know why we're in exile? Because of sinat chinam, baseless hatred. That's one of our biggest problems. That's what I talked about in the previous video. Nevertheless, what does he say here? The Al-Sheikh says something very special. Ki kulchem bli kesef. You're all going to be without money. Why? Because when there's no money, there's no jealousy. And there's no hate, because we're all in the same boat. If you have more money than me, then I'm jealous of you. And if you're driving a nice car, I'm jealous of you. You have nicer clothes, nicer watch, vacations, whatever, then there's jealousy. This is one of our major problems. So the Al-Sheikh says, okay, nobody will have any money. There's not going to be any hate or jealousy. End the story. I'm going to quote two sources from the Zohar talking about that. One of them is in Tikkunei Zohar, Tikkun 21, Kaf Aleph, page 53b, and it says, "De yafkun Israel min galuta bedeaga deanyuta." The nation of Israel are going to go out of exile with worry and poverty. That's how we're going to go out of exile, with no money. A lot of people think they can save their money right now. You can't save nothing. Another source from the Zohar, this is Zohar Chelek Gimel, page 153, Kuf Nun Gimel Aleph A, Beraya Mehemna. This is what it's talking about. Beraya Mehemna, Moshe Rabbeinu begaluta batralet mita elaoni. Don't worry, the exile is going to end not with death, with poverty. So we see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is now saying, okay, it's time for the redemption. Then what is Hashem doing? He's collapsing the entire economy of the world. Everybody's losing their money. And I know a lot of people don't like hearing it. I told it to somebody not too long ago and they said, no, just not the money. I said, yeah, but you're going to have to say goodbye. And you know, when people ran for their lives in the Holocaust, you think they got any of their money? Jews were very wealthy in Germany and in other places. You think they took anything with them? They ran for their life. So when I'm seeing the economy collapsing, and I foresee, give it another 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be a disaster. A disaster. Because people are not going to have money anymore. Then they're going to have to depend either on the government or somewhere the money to come from. And who says the government is going to come through? So this is all good news because this is a sign that Mashiach is coming. Now, I told you in the previous lecture in Purim, there's a verse in the book of Kohelet, chapter A, verse 9. And it says, Ma shaya hu shiyeh. What was will be again. Will be the same. So I was talking at the time and explaining, I'm not going to go into length, that this is referring to that what was in the exile of Egypt will be exactly the same in the exile right now. Or to explain it different, what we experienced in the redemption of Mitzrayim, that we're going to be celebrating Be'ezrat Hashem and commemorating in 2 weeks, exactly we'll have a replica in this exile, in this redemption. So I was giving a little bit of information how we see a lot of the plagues that we had in Mitzrayim, how the plagues we have them also now. Now there are few places in the world that experience unbelievable hailstorms. One of them was in Romania, But the bigger one was in Australia in January. This is 2 months ago. I have pictures of people holding balls of ice. It came down, breaking trees, breaking windshields of cars. I have videos and pictures, we're going to add them to the video, of a hailstorm that came down exactly how it came down in Egypt. Now, it doesn't mean that the Makkah, that the plague has to come on Egypt. I'm just showing correlation that right before Mashiach comes, Ma shaya hu shiyeh, what was then will be again. So we're seeing again the plagues. What's interesting here, that the last 3 plagues that we read about in Parashat Bo, at the time I explained that the first 7 plagues corresponding to the first 7 Sfirot, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut, but the 3 plagues in Parashat Bo, the last 3 ones, corresponding to Chochmah, Bina, and Da'at. And I gave a long explanation on that, now I'm not going to repeat it. But now we're remaining with the last 3 plagues. The last 3 plagues is locusts, darkness, and Makat Bechorot, the death of the firstborn. Now when it comes to locusts, I don't know if you saw, but the entire Middle East is being attacked by locusts. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Ethiopia. I have again videos and pictures of the maps where it's striking. You see that the entire Middle East is attacked by these huge locusts. What's amazing is it says in the Zohar, in the book of Shmot, page 7b, it's quoting a verse from Yeshayahu, Isaiah 60b, Samech Bet, and it says, Ki hine hachoshech yechase eretz ve'arafel leumim. The translation, behold, darkness shall cover the earth. Now, this is talking about, the Zohar is saying in Parashat Shmot, page 7b, that before Mashiach is going to come, we're going to have 15 days of darkness. And after that can come the redemption. So we see first comes the locust, and we see it with our own eyes that it's already arrived. Now the next step will be the darkness, and then Makat Bechorot. There's different explanations about the darkness. Some say it's not going to be a physical darkness, it will be a spiritual darkness. But if the Zohar says there's going to be darkness, there's going to be darkness. There's going to be 15 days of no light. And after that, of course, Makat Bechorot. Nevertheless, they can come together. And many different things. I don't want to get stuck on this right now. I just want to show a few things from our text, how it's actually happening. Now, why is it so important to look at prophecies and look at text? Because I want to bring now the words of our sages to learn from them. And in order to learn from the words of our sages, then we have to strengthen what they're saying by showing that prophecies are actually happening, and to show that what their sages are saying are accurate. Because a lot of people say, how did they know? Somebody not too long ago asked me something about one of our sages said something. How did he know? And my answer was like, how did our sages know how to put tefillin on? It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah how to put tefillin on. It just says you should have a sign on your hand. How do we know? Because our sages explain to us how we put tefillin on, how you make it. Same thing with mezuzah, same thing with slaughtering an animal, same thing with doing circumcision. It says in the Torah that we have to do circumcision. It doesn't say where, maybe the circumcision is here. So our sages come and explain everything. So when we want to make a point, then we need to prove that what our sages are saying in prophecies are accurate and to back up what they're saying. Not only that, is when you want to see the big picture, you need to put all the dots together to say, now I see it. So there is prophecy. This can be found in Yalkut Shimoni. This is a midrash on the book of Bereshit, chapter 9. And it says as follows. Rabbi Yossi says, they're talking about how Hashem is going to destroy the world. So some rabbis, some of the sages are saying, maybe with a flood. So Rabbi Yossi says, Mabul shel mayim eno mavi. Hashem is not going to bring a flood of water. Aval malbul shel dever mevi. But a flood of a plague that Hashem will bring. Where? On who? on the entire world. When? Le'emot HaMashiach, right before Mashiach comes. So we have a prophecy coming from the Midrash saying before Mashiach is going to come, Hashem wants to destroy the world. Between us, Hashem had it up to here. I'm going to explain what I mean, but I'm sure you already understand what it means Hashem had it up to here. We already exhausted any type of patience and compassion to Hashem that He really had it up to here. So when Hashem has it up to here, He says, okay, now I'm going to destroy the world. So our sages were talking 2,500 years ago, how is He going to destroy the world? So Rabbi Yossi says, don't worry. You have to go to the Midrash. I'm not reading you the entire Midrash, because there's an argument, yeah, He's going to destroy it with a flood, like He destroyed it at the time of Noah. So Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's not going to be a flood of water, but it's going to be a plague. And it's going to happen right before Mashiach comes. This is first sign. Next one. This is something that everybody's seeing on the internet. I'm just going to say it also. From the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu 26:20, Kaf Vav Kaf. It says, Lech Ami, go my people, bo bechadrecha, come into your chambers, usgor dlatecha, and close your doors. Be'adcha. Close your doors. Hide for but a moment, until the wrath passes. Kimat rega ad yavor za'am. So again, we know that the prophecies of Isaiah are all talking about the coming of Mashiach. So it says before Mashiach is going to come, Hashem is telling us, listen, go close yourself in a room a little bit. Why? Because ad yavor za'am, till the wrath is going to pass. There's a lot of good things of us being in rooms right now and closed. We don't even know what Hashem is saving us from. You know, this is my personal observation, but we were about to be attacked by Iran and Syria. They were building a coalition to attack us. Now they're all dealing with corona. Half of the Iranian government is dead from the corona. Great generals, Hashem, you don't know what Hashem is doing sometime. We were about to be attacked. That's why you, the local residents, maybe heard in the last few months how many jets were flying here all day long, bombing in Syria. The IDF was bombing day and night in Syria because they knew we're about to be attacked. So Hashem says, don't worry, I'll put you in rooms. Better to be in rooms in a quarantine than being in bomb shelters. And sometimes you don't know what Hashem is doing and how He's actually protecting us. Next. One thing, I always, when I read some type of prophecy or text, I always try to find more interesting things. So this is a prophecy that's going on everybody's sharing it in the internet about this Isaiah 26:20. Go my people, come into your chambers, etc. But the verse says something very interesting. Ami bo bechaderecha. My nation, go into your rooms. You know what's the numerical value of these three words? Ami bo bechadrecha, 367. You know what's another word is in the same numerical value of 367? You guessed it right. Corona. Corona, kuf vav, reish vav, nun, hey, is 367. Bo bechadrecha ami, come to your room, my nations, 367. So nothing here is by chance, everything is already calculated and predestined. Next. We have in the book of Bamidbar, in the desert, it's talking about Gog and Magog. And it says as follows. This is in a commentary of the Midrash. It's called Sifri. It's talking about the war of Gog and Magog in the end of days. It says, the commentary, there's on the Midrash's commentary, the commentary is called Emek HaNatziv. It says, Magefa Gdola, there's going to be a very big plague. Now what's interesting here, these are all things, I'm sure you saw it because everybody's sharing it on the internet, how it's talking about that right before Mashiach is going to come, there's going to be a plague. Why am I focusing on this? Because a lot of people, I've been talking on the war of Gog and Magog already for many years. And a lot of people say, no, the Holocaust was Gog and Magog, and all sorts of other explanations. So now I got a lot of questions from people pointing out this Midrash, because it says that Gog and Magog is going to be a plague. So a lot of people say, maybe we're saved from the nuclear bombs, and the Gog and Magog is a plague. So first of all, if you read it's not 100% accurate, because if you read this Midrash, it says that it's going to be a plague, but we do know that Gog and Magog is a war of the nations. It's not affecting the Jewish nation, and obviously we're seeing that this plague is affecting the Jewish nation. So Gog and Magog is not a plague. Part of Gog and Magog is a plague. Hashem has many ways how to bring them redemption. But why am I pointing this out? Because this midrash is talking about Gog and Magog. Now Gog and Magog is a war. I spoke about it many times. I'm not going to repeat myself. Gog and Magog is the war before the end, so to say. So again, I found a very interesting gematria. The words Sof Ha'olam, Gog and Magog, the end of the world, Gog and Magog, comes up to 367. The same numerical value of Corona. So take it as the Gog and Magog is a plague or not a plague, it doesn't matter. Hashem can now stop everything and bring the redemption tonight, and Hashem can pull out a few more cards, and we're going to have much more than a plague. So we don't know what Hashem is planning. We just need to see this and to understand that there's something much greater going on, but what do I need to do? All these prophecies are very nice, but that's just the point I'm trying to make now, is that we should just understand. Let's now see what's going on, so later on when I bring more information, then we can listen to our sages. Next. There is not a commentary, rather a translation. This is coming from the book of Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14. And it's talking about, again, before the coming of Mashiach, and it's talking about that there's going to be illness. And the translation that is called Targum Yonatan. There's many different types of translations. Most people are aware, and they know the Targum, that it's in the main Chumashim, which is called Unculus. There's also another translation that is called Targum Yonatan. Anyways, very interestingly, the Targum Yonatan translates the word illness as corona. Of course, written a little bit different, written with a kaf, but nevertheless, just interesting to see how, again, you put all the dots together, how sages, prophets, and great rabbis 2,000, 2,500 years ago, when they were seeing, okay, what's going to be this illness? So the Targum Yonatan calls the illness corona. Next, there is a prophecy in the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, in verses 12 and 13. And I'm just going to read briefly what it says. And of course, it's talking about becoming of Mashiach. I highly recommend that every source that I give you, go there and read it. And it's very important, because somebody sent me yesterday a link. I'm very, very angry when I see things like this. Somebody sent me a link to some website that they're quoting a rabbi who says that it says in the Zohar that there's going to be a very big plague and a virus before Mashiach comes, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. A lot of people send me questions, and where does it say in the Zohar this? Where does it say in the Zohar that? I was like, listen, I don't know the Zohar off by heart, but I remember what I learned. I don't remember learning that. I don't remember learning this. Unfortunately, many people throw the word Zohar because it sounds very fancy. The Zohar says. Oh yeah? Show me where it says it. So somebody sent me a link to some website that says that some rabbi said that the Zohar, blah, 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 it says that there's going to be a big virus. So what's the first thing that I do? Is I go to the source. I'm reading the page that he said. First of all, I went to the video of the rabbi. And very interestingly, that rabbi says, I'm not going to read from the Zohar because it's going to take me hours to translate and explain, but it says so and so. So I went to the page. It doesn't say nothing about no plague. So I went 10 pages back and 10 pages forward. I did not find anything about a virus or a plague. So why do you say things like this? To sound fancy? So I'm saying now that every verse and every prophecy or every text that I say and I give you the source, go to the source and read the entire thing. If I'm telling you now to go to Zechariah chapter 14, I'm quoting now 2 verses, 12 and 13, read the entire chapter. So you see, so you'll see with your own eyes and understand with your own mind, what is he saying there? Because what is he saying there? He says as follows, and this should be the plague, and there's going to be a plague, wherewith the Lord will smite all the nations. Now again, go to Zechariah, Zechariah 14, read the entire chapter, and if you need to read chapter 13, so you see where he's going with it. But this verse are saying, yeah, there's going to be a plague. Hashem is going to smite the nations with a plague. And it's talking about, again, right before Mashiach comes. Next, in the book of Shmot, chapter 12, verse 9, it says about, it's talking about Pesach, it's talking about eating the Korban Pesach, and it says, Al tochlu mimeno na, don't eat from it raw. The translation of the verse says, you should not eat it raw or boiled in water. Okay, that's referring to the sacrifice of Pesach. It's right before they were leaving Egypt. There is a commentary by the Baal HaTurim. Some people are not so familiar with him. Nevertheless, he says something very interesting. Geula achona legula rishona. What was going on in the first time they left Egypt? That they sat in their houses. Ish lo yitzeh mipetach beito. That's what they were commanded before they left Egypt. Nobody can leave the house. So he says exactly what happened when they left Egypt in Pesach. Nobody left their house. It's going to happen exactly the same thing in the Pesach before Mashiach comes. Pesach is in exactly 2 weeks. Today is Rosh Chodesh. So in 2 weeks we're going to be doing Pesach. I strongly doubt that there's going to be, the quarantine is going to be cancelled anywhere in the world by Pesach. Maybe in Tasmania there's not going to be quarantine. But in all the major countries that the majority of Jews that are celebrating Pesach, we're still going to be in quarantine. So this is just interesting how commentaries from 1,000 years ago, 800 years ago, 1,600 years ago are coming to fruition. A very important note that I want to make, there's so much junk being shared on the internet. Don't believe till you actually look in the source. Somebody sent me yesterday also some commentary, and it had the name of the commentary as an acronym. Raldab, Rablad. Never heard of such a commentary? I look in the books, never heard of such a thing. Call a few friends, you ever heard of such a commentary from 1400 years ago? Never exists. So somebody made up some text, put it in some fancy design, and they're sharing it all over the internet. Look what somebody said, the Rablad said 1600 years ago. And somebody sent me, tell me, is this correct? Is this true? I said, I've never even heard of such a thing. So I'm telling you as a personal favor, don't believe everything that you get online, on WhatsApp or Facebook, and if you do get something, go to the source, see if it actually says it, and if it says it, good. And I can tell you that there's a lot of junk going on out there. Now, this is just a handful of some texts and prophecies. There's much, much more. I don't want to waste our time on that. The reason I'm saying that is, like I told you, is to strengthen the words of our sages. There are much more prophecies. There's much more text. I know people now are very bored. They're sitting in quarantine. They're going through the entire Tanakh. Where can I find a fancy verse and be like the one who came out with, look what I found, which is good. Sit and learn Torah. If the reaction is that you sit and learn Torah, good. But there's a lot of verses, there's a lot of prophecies, there's a lot of commentary. But I said enough, just why? To strengthen the words of our sages. Why? Because a lot of our sages and a lot of our prophets, the prophecies on the time of the coming of Mashiach. And in case you haven't noticed it, I'm telling you, and many others will confirm, and not that I'm a source, but you have to be completely ignorant not to see that the gears have shifted and the coming of the redemption, the coming of Mashiach is imminent. We've been waiting for it so long. Last 20 years, everybody was, they were saying fancy slogans, we want Mashiach, and nobody really thought it will actually happen. So many people are sending me messages in panic, and I told them, what did you think is going to happen? I've been telling you to prepare for Mashiach for the last decade. What did you think is going to happen? You didn't think it's going to come? Now suddenly the world is collapsing, and oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, where were you the last 10 years when I kept drilling into your brain that Mashiach is coming? So yes, Mashiach is coming, which is exciting news. It's way beyond what we can fathom. I don't think there's a lot of people on our planet that can really fathom what we're about to experience. So Hashem is doing it nice and slow. So in the last 20 years, the blow came slowly, but we're not getting it. So now Hashem gave us, and when I'm saying us, the entire planet, a very strong blow. If we're not going to wake up now from this one, the next blow is going to be 10 times stronger. So this is I don't know if to say a last warning, but definitely an alarm coming from Hashem. Wake up, Mashiach is coming, and you better get your act together. I'll tell you what's the problem. If we're going back again to quote the book of Mishlei Shlomo HaMelech, he says, "Ma shaya hu shiyeh," right? What was will repeat itself. The only problem is, it's all good, but we're missing one element that they had then, 3,400 years ago, and we don't have. Can you guess what's this thing that we are missing? They had a Moshe Rabbeinu. They had a prophet telling them what to do. We don't have a Moshe Rabbeinu right now. We have a bunch of confused leaders that don't know what to tell anybody. And then if you look in the Torah world, is there any leader that can guide us and tell us what to do? This rabbi says this, and another rabbi contradicts him. No, do that. So who am I listening to right now? To you or to you? So we don't have a Moshe Rabbeinu. We're in serious problem because we don't have a leader. Now, if we don't have a leader, then what do? Then we have to read between the lines. The Kadosh Baruch Hu is talking to us. The writing is on the wall. Hashem is giving us messages left and right, and He says, okay, you don't have a leader, then read between the lines. Now we have to see, what is Hashem hinting to us? If up until now you did not understand that Mashiach is coming, then I don't know, rewind the video, go back now 5 years, go look at 500 videos that I posted online in the last 5 years and understand that. But I'm now talking to, hopefully, I can talk to a group of people that understand that Mashiach is coming. Mashiach is in this world already. He's prepared. We don't know if he knows who he is. If he doesn't know, it's irrelevant. But we know that Mashiach is here and he's coming. Now, what is Hashem hinting to us? We have to look at the big picture here, because we're in big trouble. And I'm going to repeat myself over and over, and I highly recommend, don't listen to the ones who are telling you, don't worry, everything will be okay, we're going back to our normal schedule very soon, everything will go back to usual, everything will go back to normal, and don't worry, and this is all. I don't know who has the chutzpah to say such things when it's not the reality, to calm people down. You know, even now, I read literally before I came now, the mayor of Los Angeles saying, we are in big trouble. I'm going to put the entire city in quarantine. And anyone who's giving false hope, he went so against about the people who are saying the false hopes. He said, we're going to have thousands of dead people. We're going to have tens of thousands of sick people. Stop saying it's going to be okay. So he went out on, how dare you give false hope? When the situation is so bad, how can you sit calm and lie to people? It's okay. It's okay, it will pass. So we have to read between the lines, what is Hashem telling us? There's a reason for that. What we're seeing, there's a big reason, and we really have to see what Hashem is trying to tell us. Now, there's a few options here. A lot of people say, it will pass. Personally, I don't think it's going to pass. From here, it will take the next step to become worse. And then we'll go worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't think this is passing. Maybe it will. If it will pass, then you mark my words, I don't know how long it will take, but the next one will be 10 times, if not 100 times worse. If this whole plague somehow, miraculously, I don't know how, miraculously, boom, will disappear. Now people say, okay, maybe we'll go half a year with this situation. Half a year? Can you see yourself sitting in your own apartment for the next half a year? What are you going to eat? How are you going to get money? People are posting online videos how day 7 in quarantine, day 8 in quarantine. People are going nuts. You think you're going to survive half a year in your house? If it will be half a year. And then after half a year, suddenly life will be back to normal. So I strongly doubt it's going to be over. If it will somehow miraculously be over, there's two options. Either we will do such tshuva that we are going to completely break the judgment, then great, then Mashiach is going to come. That's what we want to do. That's what we're hoping. But if it will somehow miraculously pass without our tshuva, oy vavoy, then hold on to your chair even more, because the next slap we're going to get from Hashem is going to be 100 times worse.